We chose the Ilembe concession because it was an example of the public municipality deciding to contract a private company to run the water services, in this case for 30 years.
The concession started in 1999. There was a bid process, I think, a few years before that to the Dolphin Coast municipality, and the preferred bidder was Saul at the time, and Saul's undergone some changes since then, and our current holding company, which has bought out the Saul holding, happened in 2007. We're now basically Cascal, which is a division of Bywater that handles concessions. And we're running now for 10 years, 10th anniversary coming up very shortly.
See, the water concession sort of emerged out of a very controversial sort of disputes between trade unions and government about whether or not water should be privatized and the rest. And so it had a real baptism of fire. But despite the sort of controversy surrounding it and its real difficulties, I mean, it almost shut down in its first couple of years of operation. It's actually, year by year, delivered very good results in terms of the quality of service provision, and has shown that a private sector provider can really do a relatively good job in providing water services in a particular area. One of the things that has to be taken into account, though, is that they're providing water to a relatively small number of users, and there's also been concern about the higher costs that are there for users and whether or not there's a measure of affordability. Obviously, most of the people who do get access to water in Ballito get free basic water allocation, but if one wants to move from getting one's water from a standpipe 200 meters away to having a connection in your house in that CESA concession area, there's a very big leap in terms of cost. So you go from really having to pay nothing to a much higher cost level, and that's been a matter of dispute where people feel they're trapped in a lower level of service and they can't sort of gradually move themselves up because of the affordability issues. But in terms of reliability of supply, the quality of the water, the responsiveness when there are breakdowns, see the water perform probably better than many other areas in the country in terms of their servicing of the community. And they've also invested very heavily in the infrastructure so that the number of burst pipes and those sorts of things, which ultimately users pay for, is very low. They lose almost no water in the CESA concession area.
Well, the challenges that we're faced with the contract, concession contract, it's just that it's for the certain area within the Ilembe district municipality. It's not for the whole area. More coastal, that is looking in the affluent area, much as we've got a small section of it which is on the other side of the highway, which is more rural, and those two the services are not exactly the same. So
in terms of that, I think we do have the richest of the rich in terms of the area of Ilembe district. But I think when this concession was done in 1999 or in 1997, 1996, when they were planning this, no one knew the whole district philosophy was going to come in. So at that time, Dolphin Coast municipality, we did the entire municipality of Dolphin Coast. So we didn't do bits and pieces of municipality originally.
At one stage, our working group members visited Nkumongo in the Ilembe municipality in the CESA water concession, and they saw firsthand how RDP houses, people had been given flush toilets, but they hadn't been communicated with to understand that there's an ongoing cost of water and that they couldn't actually afford the water that it would take to flush the toilets.
She had water before, and the water was very expensive because she had grandchildren, and she decided that she had to just go and asked them to take the water out because it was too expensive for her. Sometimes I used to skip a month not paying because we have to eat and clothe from this money, this pension money. Sometimes it goes up to 170 rands per month.
170.
It's too expensive. Water is very expensive.
Kind of double standards in service where people on the affluent side, they are comfortable with the tariffs and all the stuff, and then you find on the western side of the freeway where we've got more rural and more poor people, they are not comfortable with the payment, whereas the tariff is the same. But that has been discussed within the council. The council has lobbied against the poor people, and the rates or the tariff now has been adjusted.
Like we asked for applying for water system here, and we were turned down. And eventually we bought the tank, and we connected from the tank water in. And there's other people that have assisted themselves to Caesar water, and they've been approved. And which this year, we wanted water, and we were not approved of it. And we just want to know, why is this so hard? Like, we are fit, some of us are fit. What about those people that are not well in body? And old people? It's hard for them to carry water from the standpipe.
Well, some of the people got water at the end, and yet we're going to pay the money. Not for nothing, we're going to pay the money. My mom she wants an inside toilet. So she can't go night time also in the rain. So we have to bring it to your attention, because going there they're saying, no, let's wait. When we're going to die, we're not going to see the water, or next year, next after year, in 2010, when? We need to know what's happening.
The RDP areas, lots of the network cannot accommodate internal connections because of the size of the network. You've got small pipes running to feed standpipes only. So you're not going to be able to accommodate internal connections, because you get 3 or 4 houses that draw off the line, then your standpipe feeding larger part of the community won't get water at all. So we basically have to look at engineering design and redesign of the entire system again to accommodate that.
Caesar Water fulfilled the terms of its contract, but it raised a whole range of questions about how municipalities have the capacity needed to negotiate and renegotiate contracts.
Well, when I started with Caesar Water, that was in 2003, the relationship wasn't all that good. Nobody understood the contract. It was inherited from Dolphin Coast. From Dolphin Coast, what Duguza municipality inherited, and we are coming on the third level, on the third time.
In this case, Ilembe also illustrated the importance of external monitoring and regulation.
What helped a lot was the concession was monitored by SBA, I believe, as an external concession auditor. They gave us very, very positive feedback, and that was basically a good drive for us to put better results into our monthly reporting. The scrutinizing of monthly reports, burst pipes, they went into everything.
The water dialogue process is kind of helping, enhancing our endeavors in trying to understand the contract and the working relationship with the concessionaire.
I think the water legs brought back a relationship and communication line and enhanced that relationship for Ilembe and Caesar to talk to each other, to look at issues of enhancing service delivery.